Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, lovers and seekers, those who are lost and those who are found. Tonight, I will be reading from the compilation titled Outlaw Creative, The Geometry of Life. We will be hearing from the chapter titled The Box on a Flat Day. That being said, let's get started, shall we? The box on a flat day. 1. The one that doesn't announce itself. There's a kind of day, mood, weather, chemistry, fatigue, where the mind has horsepower and no road. Not despair, not drama, just unripped. Energy exists, but it isn't attached to a thing. Like an engine revving while still tied to the dock. Like a dog with a leash and no human. The problem isn't meaninglessness. The problem is that meaning is too large to grab with one hand. That's where the trick lands. The assumption that the cure must be grand purpose. A life plan, a slogan, a tidy moral, a cathedral. On days like that, the mind needs a doorknob, a handle, one small object with enough edge to catch the hand. 2. Craft as antidote to floating. Craft is repeatable power under constraint. Repeatable, it can be done again tomorrow with a different mood. Power, it changes reality even slightly. Constraint, it works inside limits rather than pretending limits aren't real. That's why craft is not merely talent. Talent is a flare. Craft is a lantern. Talent can light up the sky for a moment. Craft can get a body down a staircase without breaking its neck. True boredom, the flat gray kind, often reads as the mind starving for constraint. Not because constraint is romantic, but because constraint gives direction. Constraint makes energy submit to shape. A shape is mercy. A box is a shape. A gate track is a shape. A rule is a shape. Even a joke is a shape when it's clean enough to repeat. 3. The quiet lie that burns time. Modern life runs on a small lie. If maximizing isn't happening, wasting is happening. That lie turns rest into guilt and turns play into rehearsal for work. It makes minutes demand justification. It makes a sandwich feel like failure. It makes a walk feel like it doesn't count. Then the mind rebels, not as philosophy but as immune system. That rebellion often shows up as boredom. Boredom can be the mind refusing to be a factory. It's not always noble. Sometimes laziness wears a tuxedo, but the point stands. The nervous system eventually refuses to keep pretending every second must become a result. Face washed, dumb scrolling, sandwich made, walk outside. Those moves are not content. They are maintenance. Maintenance is older than art. Maintenance is older than ambition. Maintenance is the religion of staying alive long enough to make something worth keeping. 4. The knife edge between play and collapse. The box cat move works because it's an agreement between chaos and form. Chaos says, anything can happen. Form says, it happens inside here. Placing the box places a boundary. When the cat enters, motion appears without danger. The thrill of unpredictability shows up without the cost of real threat. A safe theater of being alive happens. That's why the moment a snake enters the scene, the temperature changes. The snake is consequence. The snake reminds that the same mind that plays can panic. The same room that holds can trap. The same darkness that makes story can make false endings. So the instinct is correct. Cat plus snake in one box is not interesting. It is incompatible. The container collapses into hazard. That isn't softness. That's intelligence. A good box stays a box. If it becomes war, it stops being a tool and starts being an ordeal. 5. Why thought keeps recruiting animals. A lot of people demand that a concept be nailed to a board like a butterfly. This style refuses that. It keeps concepts alive. A concept is wanted that moves, looks back, bites if handled wrong, runs if startled. That's why flat lists of qualities feel dead. Lists are museum tags. What matters is motion. Mode. Mode is hard to say in ordinary language, so the animal world gets recruited because animals are modes. They are moving logics, behaviors that can't be argued with. A cat is a method. A snake is a method. A box is a method. Once that clicks, the world turns into a catalog of procedures disguised as biology. That isn't mysticism. That's practical discernment. It's a refusal to be tricked by names when the core issue is how the thing behaves. 6. What a flat day asks for. A flat day doesn't ask for inspiration. A flat day asks for one handle that doesn't lie. A handle that doesn't lie has 3 properties. 1. Small enough to start. 2. Real enough to leave evidence. 3. Bounded enough to stop. That's why short, clean lines matter when they land. Not because long writing is unwanted, long cuts are loved, but because a short, clean line is a tool that can be picked up while tired. The day didn't need an epiphany. The day needed a gate. 7. A gate track isn't a song. It's a switch. A gate track, in this sense, is ritual. It flips state, from scattered to aimed, from fog to edge, from energy with no object to this is the object. That's why the structure matters. Whisper spoken, shouted, dead stop. That arc is nervous system engineering. It gives permission to ramp up and permission to quit. The dead stop isn't drama, it's closure. It tells the brain, it happened, it's done. A lot of exhaustion comes from the lack of dead stops. Everything bleeds into everything. Doors that actually close are rare. So building doors that close is a kind of sanity. 8. The vow worth keeping. A single rule can be carried without rebuilding a worldview. When energy has no object, build a small box and put a living thing in it. Translate it out of cat language. Pick one bounded task and make it move. Bounded. 10 minutes, 8 lines, 1 image prompt, 1 stanza, 1 edit, 1 upload, 1 walk. Living. It produces a result that can be seen, heard, or touched. Then stop. Not stopping turns the box into a trap. Starting is not the hard part. Stopping cleanly is. 9. The unflashy kind of hope. The ability to be flat and still do maintenance is a kind of hope. Not inspirational hope. Not, everything will be fine. The other kind. The kind that proves off and functional can coexist. The kind that proves tired and faithful to the body can coexist. The kind that proves the perfect mood is not required for one honest step. That's the adult version of magic. No heavens need to open. A small box on the floor is enough. Sometimes the cat shows up anyway. If the cat doesn't show up, fine. The box still exists. Evidence still exists. Noise doesn't get the last word. That's a life, not a highlight reel. A life,